What are your thoughts in general of this year of celebration?
Shit's whack.
Willie D, I love it. I love it. There it is.
Yeah, you know, because it's a lot of it is being put on and presented by gatekeepers who don't have the best interest of the culture at heart, and it's a money grab for them. And they're picking and choosing who they think should receive praise, who should receive accolades. And you know, the true part about it is that at one point we were all outcasts. All of us in hip hop were outcasts, including the executives. You know, including the label owners. We were all outcasts. And as time went by, we slowly started to penetrate the power structure of the music industry, and we started getting in these powerful positions. And as we got into these powerful positions and started hosting award shows, and we started being able to curate playlists, and on and on and on, we started saying, you know what, I'm gonna bring in my people who I think is relevant, who I fuck with. And you know, one of the biggest problems is, one of the biggest problems is a lot of the people who make these decisions are from not just the East Coast, but from New York. And that's a problem. That is problematic because, you know, hip hop may have started in New York, but hip hop is worldwide. And we've all, like, hip hop would not be the same without the West Coast. It would not be the same without the South. You know, it would not be the same without the Midwest. You know, we all have made tremendous contributions to this art form. In fact, I would argue that without the rest of us, hip hop would not have survived.
You need diversity. Yeah, I agree.
So why are you trying to prevent others from getting their shine and recognition? You know, like what I suggest is that I think that it's so biased. I suggest that each region hold their own award shows or do their own top 50 playlist. You know, do their own top 50 MCs, top 50 greatest hip hop groups of all times. Because I can tell you right now, you know, I think Billboard listed Geto Boys at somewhere around 22, 23, something like
28.
that. Yeah. What's 28?
28.
Greatest groups of all time.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, bro.
That's bullshit.
Let me tell you something. I know for a motherfucking fact, there ain't 20 groups better than, there ain't 10 hip hop groups better than Geto Boys.
Talk about it.
Right. Talk
That's
about
a motherfucking fact.
Yeah.
All right.
Fact.
So while I salute those guys who did, you know, get listed before us, because all of those acts are great acts, I would give them that.
Most of them.
You know.
Right.
No, well, you know, I think the ones that they had before us, those are all
Okay.
of them. I
haven't seen the list all.
I saw-
We talked about it earlier.
I saw the list.
Okay.
Now, there are others that are on that list that I feel like ain't really deserving to be on that list at all.
Yeah.
But I know for a motherfucking fact there ain't no 10 hip hop groups better than Geto Boys.
Right.
You know, hell, I'd argue that there ain't one. You know,
As you should.
because let me tell you something, bro. Like some of the groups that they have on there, they only had like 2-3 albums.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I'm saying. That's my
And-
point.
And even the ones who had more albums, we had 7 studio albums. Even the ones who had more albums, put our shit up next to theirs, play song by song by song by song, back to back to back to back, and you can't touch it.
Right.
Our shit is back to back to back. Ain't no song fillers.
Right.
I mean, there ain't no album fillers.
Yeah.
Right.
Every single song, you be like, oh shit, oh, you waiting on a break. You can't go to you can't go outside and come back.
Right.
No, you gonna listen to every one of those songs because there's information and instructions in every one of those songs, and we jamming like a fool.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing about these lists too, we can't, we although we do because it's our art, you know what I mean? We can't really take it necessarily to heart because that's somebody's opinion. We got to keep in mind these lists are somebody's opinion of who they think is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we shouldn't take it to heart. But it is dangerous information to spew when you're putting the Ghetto Boys at 28, and then you'll put City Girls before you. I'm gonna say it.
And the other thing is, you know, who are these people making the list? What's the pedigree of the person making the list? Because to me, and I do know the pedigree of some of those lists, but I know for a fact, and I know one of my quote unquote OGs was a part of some of the lists. I'm not gonna specify, but he was very upset and very frustrated with the final product. And so even then, it's out of their hands too. Because I think, like you might mention, there are agendas involved in these. So when you say City Girls, not to pick on the City Girls, but just to say, where are they in the 50 years of hip hop? Where are they really honestly put? And Billboard is an institution, for example.
Right.
Just like The Source was an institution.
Right.
You know, I'm talking about credible outlets.
Credible outlets, right.
Yeah. So,
in my opinion, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have to say this. City Girls had no business being on that list. Where they are.
What list were they on?
The Billboard's greatest hip-hop groups of all time.
They on that list?
They're on the list. And then you got groups like...
They got let me tell you something. Get the fuck out of here with that. You know, like I'm going to tell you straight up now, and you just... Let me go ahead and say it before anybody else say it. I'm old. I'm a has-been. I don't make records no more and all that shit. Whatever the fuck you want to say. All right? But I know for a motherfucking fact that they should not be on that list. There have been so many really great hip-hop acts. You know, to me, a great hip hop act is that act that you're left in awe with. You like, man, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, if you looked at what their body of work and you hear what they're doing, you're like, oh man, I couldn't do that shit. Like, and I'm gonna say this too. Y'all were talking about Big Boy and me not getting enough recognition as MCs, you know, on these top lists or whatever. How is that even possible when I know for a fact that I've written over half of the music, half of that shit y'all say y'all love about Geto Boys, I wrote it.
Yeah.
You know, I wrote my shit, and I wrote almost everything that came out of Bushwick Bill's mouth came out of my head first.
Yeah.
So I'm a bad boy, right? So how is it that y'all love Geto Boys so much, but Willie D ain't never mentioned? Okay? So, and you look at Big Boy. How can you put Outkast at number one and Big Boy wrote perhaps at least half of that shit?
Yeah.
And he's not mentioned.
Right.
How you love Outkast? The shit don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense.
All you motherfuckers who are writing these lists and coming up with these lists, you motherfuckers have no credibility because you don't know what the hell you doing.
Right.
What are your standards? Y'all niggas talk about lyrics. Oh, he's lyrical. He lyrical. Nigga, fuck your lyrical shit. Fuck all that shit. If you write music, if you write songs, you're writing lyrics, which makes you a lyricist. Now, if you want to come up with some more shit, you want to come up with a new phrase, and you want to say he's slick. You know, he's slippery, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Right.
Call it that.
Yeah.
But I'm a motherfucking lyricist.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the motherfuckers who put it down for real.
Yeah.
I did it for real, and I didn't do it just for myself. I've written for other artists who had hit songs. Right. Okay? So miss me with that bullshit. When you start talking about who's this or who that, you got to miss me with that bullshit if you ain't talking about Willie D. And to your point, this music, these lists are subjective.
Right.
But what's dangerous about these lists are you fucking with people's money and you fucking with their legacy.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Because when people hear a list from a so-called reputable source like Billboard or let's say, BT or XXL or any of these these magazines, institutions, AllHipHop.com, they take that shit to heart. Yeah. And they say if they're saying it, well, it must be true.
Must be true.
Because these guys are at the top. They're the gatekeepers. They're the one, this is all they do. So they must know what they're talking about. They had a whole team of motherfuckers, breaking these artists down and saying, well, flow, content, album sales, all that old shit. You know, so people believe that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm hot about this whole situation with Earl Spence and Crawford,
right.
Terrence Crawford.
Right.
People saying that Earl Spence should retire. One horrible fight.
Yeah.
Let's put it out there. It was a horrible performance in terms of him getting hit so much.
Right.
But if you think about the way he fought, the dude kept coming the entire fight.
Right.
It ain't like he was just laying on the ground getting stomped
Right.
out.
He kept getting up,
The
coming back.
man kept getting up and swinging and coming, attacking.
An undefeated fighter.
Right.
At that.
Undefeated fighter. The dude kept attacking. Yes, he got shut down. But how many fighters did Floyd Mayweather shut down and smash up that are world champions and Hall of Famers who continue to win after they fought
Canelo.
Mayweather?
Canelo is one of them.
Canelo is a primary example.
Yeah.
So to say that this man should just quit, it's like at the first sign of a really bad loss, he should get out, quit. People making jokes about this man. Oh, he need to quit. Man, you fucking with that man's livelihood, and cause it's people out there saying, well, I don't know if I might want to do business with him.
Yeah.
Right.
You fucking with that man's livelihood.